The next part we will deal with is the memory. I'm sorry. Before we get to the memory, I want to talk about the bus a little. And again, the bus is this highway that connects all the different components. And this time, what we will do is we will go into the HP's website and start browsing that one. And the reason I go with different ones is because, you know, sometimes they offer it, they look a little different. So they start with PCs here. And let's see their applications: school, everyday, premium, business. Of course, we're going to be looking at gaming computers. What else? And we're going to accept whatever they just said here because we're not going to read it. And let's see what did they have. So this is, I guess, let's shop now and see what the parameters are. We have a 10th generation. This is a $729 gaming computer. So it's kind of on the low end of gaming, and you can see that immediately because we have a 10th generation Intel, but the processor is an i5 processor. So let's see if we can find something that's better. I wonder why this is the first one that came up. I would have expected them to come up. There we go, with stronger computers. So it looks like this is, no, this one is the, it's kind of pretty parallel in terms of performance to the one that I showed you before from Dell. So we're going to click on this one and let's see. We already do see that, well, they're not taking us anywhere. They really want to help, but they're not taking us anywhere. So this time, oh, there we go. We're going into this computer. And in this computer, if we'll go to the specs, what we're going to see is these are the combinations. Look at the processor. We're looking at exactly the same processor that the Dell computer had at the same time. But what I care about now is I want to look at the storage, at the memory, because the memory is typically the only place where you're going to see the bus speed. And the bus speed you can see here is, it says 2933. That's 2,933 megabytes per second. So 2.933 gigabytes per second. That's the speed that they have here. And I can tell you, trust me on that this was the same number that we saw for the other processor, the other computer from Dell, the G7 from Dell. One thing that I do want you to notice is that it says DDR4 here, and DDR4 is a certain level of interface, and the higher the number, typically the faster the memory is going to be. But the bus itself is 2933. And that's as far as I want to talk about the bus. But since I'm here and we're talking about RAM, then I want to show you something about what RAM looks like. And RAM cards look like this. These are the memory cards. These are, I guess, a little older because I see that they're 2 gigabyte each, and they typically today, you know, I'm not even sure you can get 4 gigabytes. They probably start at about 8 gigabytes. This is what the cards look like. Now, there is something that I want you to consider. So there are several things I want you to consider. The first is, how much memory do we have here? How much RAM do we have? And in this computer, they're telling you that it's 16 gigabytes, but you can get it with 32 gigabytes. Now, you will notice that the 16 gigabytes comes with 2 cards that have 8 gigabytes each, and the 32 has 2 cards that are 16 gigabytes each. Well, can you get one card that's 16 gigabytes and get 16 gigabytes this way? This is something to keep in mind. There is a limited number of slots inside a laptop that would allow you to put storage there. And if you have only 2 slots, which is kind of typical for a laptop because laptop is pretty compact, there's not a lot of room there. If you have only 2 slots, if you bought a memory that is 2 by 8 gigabytes, you have 16, but if you want to upgrade, you probably need to replace both cards. So now you have to buy 32 gigabytes as 2 cards of 16. And you really already had 16, but if you bought your computer with 16 gigabytes as 1 card, you have 1 slot that's open, that's available for you, which means that if you want to upgrade your laptop from 16 to 32, all you have to do is just buy 1 16 gigabyte card. Another thing to keep in mind, and they're not saying it here, but sometimes you will see that where computers actually, I'm sure that if we went into a deeper dive in this computer, we're going to find what the maximum storage that it can handle. And so you want to make sure that you can upgrade beyond 16 gigabytes. I think that today for a laptop, assuming that you can go up to 32 gigabytes, whether you start that way or not, is a different story. But just your ability to upgrade later to a certain amount is probably pretty important. So when you look at memory, what you want to see is you want to see the speed of that memory. Let's go back to show you where was the memory? There it is. You want to see how big it is. What are you getting? Again, if you're going to get a computer with 8 gigabyte, very, very powerful processor and very, very powerful GPU graphic processor, but 8 gigabyte of RAM, that's not going to be enough. DDR3 is going to be slower. DDR4 is faster. 2933, I'm going to just skip back to the Dell and I'm going to show you, ooh, this Dell actually has 2666, which means that the HP laptop that I just showed you is faster. You get a faster bus and you get a faster interface. Look at the Dell here, actually still has 2 by 16 gigabytes to give you a total of 32. So we care about, if I'll go back to HP, we care about how much storage, we care about the type of interface, fast interface, we care about the speed, and we care about how is it organized. Is it going to use the 2 slots? And if I want to upgrade, I need to upgrade both of them, or is it using only one of them? And if I want to upgrade, I have one available.